everyone. In the last video, we discussed about how to create a company in Tally Prime and also what are the features we have to enable as per our accounting needs or your business needs. So, in this video, we are going to learn what is inside Tally Prime. So, once you get into the Tally, after successful creation of your company, so the window you are able to view look like this. Simply we call as gateway of Tally. So from my personal experience, so I can say that this is the entire stuff of Tally. Broadly categorized into four headings. One it is called masters, the second one called as transactions, the third one is utilities, and the fourth one is reports. So this is the four broad headings under gateway of Tally. So we are going to discuss in this video the first heading of gateway of Tally is masters. You look at there are three subheadings under masters. The first one is create, the second one is alter, the third one is chart of accounts. I hope most of you are experienced with the existing Tally version. The same we are going to create a group, creating a ledger, creating a stock item, creating a unit of measure, stock categories, then scenarios. Only a minimal differences between. In the earlier version, they given a broad in nature. Here all it is combined into three headings. Let we get into the first one is create. So once you clicked create option under masters heading from gateway of Tally, you look at this is the window which is going to appear. From this you will come to know there are four headings. One is accounting masters. The second one inventory masters. The third one is statutory masters. And the last one is statutory details. Under accounting masters, there has five different headings. One it is called group. The second one is ledger. The third one is cost center. The fourth one is currency. The fifth one is voucher type. Similarly, inventory masters, we have stock group, stock category, stock item, then unit of measure, then godown. Statutory masters, GST classification. In the earlier video itself, we discussed so how to enable GST for our company. Then statutory details, actually GST classification. So the tally is already having as much as classifications: nil rated or taxable or zero rated, intrastate taxable, intrastate taxable on your supply of goods and services. Beyond that, if you want to classify your own GST classification, then you can define from here. Then statutory details, GST details, enabling GST, enabling GST. Then PAN or customer identification number details. So all you can able to create under the broad heading called masters. Now let me see one by one what is inside. Group. You look at the word called group. I am going to grouping of similar ledger accounts. Broadly, we are categorizing into four. One, it is called assets. The second one is liabilities. The third one is expenses. And the last one is revenues. Whenever you are going to create any group, okay, you are going to creating a link of your group, either assets or liabilities or expenses or revenues. So it is simply grouping of ledgers. Grouping of ledgers. We can say that the collection of ledgers. Collection of ledgers. In Tally also, in Tally, there has several groups already predefined. Predefined. Almost 28 groups, of which 15 are primary groups, 13 are secondary groups. If you are going to create your own group, either may be a primary group or it may be a subgroup. If you are going to create a primary group, then at the time of creating a primary group, you should link with either liabilities or assets or expenses or revenues, as I mentioned a little before. If you are going to create a subgroup, then you are going to create a link with any one of the predefined primary group or subgroups. Else, you are created a primary group earlier. Now I am going to create a subgroup on that. Yes, it could be possible. So therefore, groups are a collection of ledgers, probably the same kind. Then next, ledgers. Yes, it is a one important part of accounting, especially bookkeeping. We are going to keep all the financial data under this. I can say that grouping of similar items in a unique name called ledgers. In Tally has two predefined ledgers. One is cash ledger account. The second is profit and loss account. Then the next is cost center. Yes, cost center. Cost center also similar to the separate department, a separate department to which the cost can be allocated. Cost can be allocated either in terms of production or in terms of services. It is a very good feature which is available in Tally. Cost centers and cost categories. Then currency. As we all familiar, the Tally which supports multi-currency support. According to the installation country, the system is automatically fetched which currency they are going to use. If you want, you can create your own currency other than the predefined one. It could be possible. The next voucher types. Yes, which is showing the authenticity of your transactions. In Tally, there has 24 predefined voucher types like purchase voucher, sales voucher, receipt voucher, payment vouchers, rejection in, rejection out, credit note, debit note. So similarly, there are 24 predefined voucher types. So these which comes under accounting masters. The next which is related to inventory. The one is stock group. It is similar to the grouping under accounting masters. I am going to grouping of the similar stock categories. Then stock category. It is also a part of a stock group. Stock group you can create primary group, secondary group of which you can categorize. This is related to electronics. This is related to electrical products. So you can accordingly so categorize under the stock category. The next stock item. I don't want to create a stock group or I don't want to create stock category. So it is enough to create stock item. Then you can create stock item individually. Then unit of measure. How I am going to measuring my materials, my products, like quantity, like kilogram, like pieces. Especially when you are going to deal with the GST related GST, then it is a must you have to define the unit of measure. Then goodwill. If you want to maintain a separate inflow outflow of your materials to your production unit, you can categorize with the help of a Google. So this is the two broad category under masters. Once you are familiar on this, it is very easy to learn the tally. The next alter. Yes, what so far we discussed with respect to accounting masters, with respect to inventory masters, with respect to statutory masters and statutory details. At the time of creation of any of this, if we did any mistake, then you can able to modify by selecting alter option under masters heading. The last one under masters is chart of accounts. You look at under accounting masters, you select groups. These are all the predefined groups. You look at here, as I mentioned little before, it is 28 predefined groups. Beyond that, if you want to create any new group, then you will create. Either maybe a primary group or maybe a subgroup. Similarly, ledgers. Look at, as I mentioned, the Tally has two predefined ledgers. One is cash. The second ledger is profit and loss account. Apart from that, whatever the ledgers we are in need, we are supposed to create based on my company's transactions. Similarly, voucher types. Look at there has 24 voucher types. Already tally is predefined. If you want create your own voucher type, we can possible to create with the help of tab. Then cost categories. There is no predefined cost categories. Only the first one is defined primary cost category. If you want to create one more cost category, you can create a link with primary cost category. Without primary cost category, so we could not possibly to create any sub category of costs. Then cost centers. You can create multiple centers. Say for example, marketing department, sales department, manufacturing department, or production department. You can create the cost centers. Then currencies. Yes, budgets. Scenarios. Yes, without affecting your original data, you can able to make an analysis. Then the scenarios, which is mostly helpful. Which is mostly helpful. Budget forecasting the informations. Forecasting prediction of money. So these are all the basic we have to understand under the heading of masters. Once we are familiar with the masters, then it is easy to move the next heading called transactions. Simply we are going to post our day-to-day business entries under vouchers. As we discussed, the tab has 24 predefined vouchers. Look at the year first voucher, which starts from F4, called contra entries. We are very familiar. There are two entries. We can say that contra entries. Bank account to cash account, then cash account to bank account. These two normally we use the term called contra entries. So any type of transaction happened, then you can post the entries under this voucher window. The next, payment. Any payment which you made during your business period, then those entries we are going to manipulate under the payment voucher window. The next, receipt. Whenever the money which flows in terms of cash or in terms of bank, then such entries you are going to manipulate under the receipt voucher window. So any entries which could not possible post under contra or payment or receipt or purchase or sales, then those entries could be possible to post under journal by pressing F7. Even I don't want to segregate contra receipt payment. Instead of posting the entries of these vouchers, will I post all the entries under journal? Yes, it could be possible. For that, what you are supposed to do, you have to enable through futures. Then you can post all the entries under journal. But Tally has such kind of features. You can easily to analyze and categorize. Then sales, all credit related sales, all credit sales informations we are going to post under the sales voucher window. Similarly, by pressing F9, all credit purchase informations we are going to accommodate voucher under purchase voucher window. Then other vouchers, as we mentioned, Tally has many number of predefined vouchers you can post other than this. Okay. Then change mode, that we will have a discussion in another video. So therefore, F4 is a contract, F5 is a payment, F6 is a receipt, F7 is journal, F8 is sales, and F9 is purchases. So any transaction happened in your organization, so based on the transaction, so you can manipulate any one of these vouchers. Then daybook. Yes, what are all the entries in a day-to-day business transactions you posted through your voucher window? So all the entries which is going to be listed out. If you did any mistake or if you did any wrong entry, then it could be possible to modify also. You all aware, as per accounting procedures, there is no modifications or changes. But Tally has a feature you could possibly to modify. So once these two category in the master's post, what we are going to do, so we are going to create the necessary groups, the necessary ledger accounts, the necessary unit of measure, necessary stock items. Once you define all in a proper manner, then you are going to post all your entities under vouchers window. Once you posted all the vouchers window, you can access daybook whatever the entries which you made it. Okay, this is the first two heading of gateway of Tally. The remaining we will have a discussion in the next video. Thank you.